Hey guys, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. I am sure you know that handling real-time data and unstructured data can be really difficult and pose as a huge challenge today. Now, Splunk is one of these tools, one of these platforms that are available today where it provides us with a beautiful user interface through which we can handle a lot of data, process it, and even perform data visualization as well. Now, Splunk is one of the trendiest platforms out there in the field of big data and DevOps right now. And keeping that in mind, you have to understand that there comes a huge demand for proficient Splunk developers and Splunk engineers. Now, with this, we here at Intellipaat have come up with this video where we'll be discussing a lot about the various certifications that are available, the exams you'll have to clear, on your way to becoming Splunk experts. But then, guys, before we begin with the session, make sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you'll never miss any updates from us. And now, coming to the agenda of the session, let's start out by taking a quick look at some of the interesting facts around Splunk. After that, we can take an introduction to understand what Splunk is and, of course, why we even require Splunk and the certification in Splunk as well. And once you understand why you require the certification, it's pretty easy to check out all of the certification offerings that exist today. And after this, we can check out all the candidate requirements that are needed for you guys to work your way into becoming experts in Splunk. And after that, we can check out details such as the exam registration details, the exam fees, and of course, even the average salary of a Splunk engineer too. And at the end of it, we'll be discussing the career prospects as soon as you guys work your way on becoming a Splunk expert and a lot more in this session. Well, now, without further ado, let's begin the session. So coming to the first point of the agenda on this Splunk certification video, let's check out a couple of very interesting facts about Splunk. Well, did you actually know that the net worth of Splunk itself, the provider itself is $31 billion as of October 30th, 2020? Well, when you think about it, the market share of Splunk has been really amazing these days because, well, the entire world is a big data problem and we need ways to handle data, right? And Splunk does it really, really well. So considering that a lot of people opt in for Splunk for their data requirements, and in that particular case, yes, you can see why it's worth this much and why people are willing to invest their money towards Splunk as well. And the second most important thing is that there's over 10,000 plus job openings right now for certified Splunk experts in India. Of course, the numbers will vary for other places, but then when you think about it, there are amazing job insights right now in India as well. So keeping that in mind, let's take a quick introduction to what Splunk is. So Splunk is one of the amazing software platforms out there that makes sure we can do a lot with the data we have at hand. See, for example, all the data that we have right now, right, it's machine generated data mostly. Now when we have data of that sort, we need to understand that data. For example, you will need to perform some analysis, you need to do some manipulation in the data, monitor the data, search through the data, all of that, right? So when you're doing all of that, it can get a little complex. Now, how has Splunk solved this? Splunk actually has a beautiful user interface to use, which will help you to do a lot of things in a very simple manner. For example, if you have data that you have to search across, you can do that very effectively too. Do you want to monitor what aspects of change happens in your data that you'll use to drive analytics later or perform data visualization or something? So, right from the ingestion to maintainability to usage and all the way to analysis, right? So Splunk is one of these tools that will really help you control all of this. So it'll give you a very tight grasp across the entire domain of data, and that in today's world, in my opinion, is something which is a hard requirement, right? It is something that's needed, of course. And then, one of these things that makes Splunk extremely popular is it does one thing very effectively that no other product today can. It's that it has the ability to completely capture and analyze huge amounts of unstructured time series data. Now, see, if the data is structured, right, then in a way to process it, to simplify it, store it, analyze it, it is pretty easy. Now, if you have to do the same for unstructured data, things can get a little iffy. Now, considering all of
of that, there are three things that are the most important things in the data life cycle, right? One is data identification, where we have to realize what data comes into our architecture, how we store it, and what data is it that we require to process something. That's step one. And the second thing in the life cycle is data transformation. Once we have understood that, hey, we have certain data and we use this data to solve a problem, but it'll be in its raw form. We need to transform the data to help us cater to the problem, right? In that particular case, there's data transformation, where we transform the data to the way we need. And after data transformation, after the data has been tweaked to our particular requirement, the end of it is going to be analysis and visualization. Now, visualizations are extremely important because the human brain recognizes images 10,000 times faster than text. Now, in that particular case, if Splunk is being used, and whenever Splunk is being used, it's going to have a purpose, of course. Now, to maximize the effectiveness of this purpose, one of the approaches that you can take is data visualization. And in this particular case, Splunk does an amazing job at this particular thing. So now you might have a question saying, okay, we know what is Splunk now, but why do we require Splunk certification, right? See, let me talk about data for a second here, because when you're thinking about data, it's one of these entities that is driving the world today, right? There's a famous quote that says data is the new oil. You know the worth of oil. Now let me tell you the worth of data, right? So we generate terabytes worth of data every single second, and in that particular case, you need to have your data to do three things for you. One, it has to be accessible whenever it's required. So if you just store data and if you cannot retrieve it in a rapid manner, it's no use, right? So keeping your data accessible is very important in today's world. And of course, data usability, right? It's not just we have a lot of data, but what are we doing with this data? How are we using the data? Are we putting this data to solve another problem? Us storing a data itself is a problem, I'll be very honest with you. But then there is another quote which says the entire world is a big data problem. Well, I agree to that. But then yes, coming back, you really have to find ways to see if your data is usable and how it's being used. The third thing we have to talk about is how valuable is the data that we're storing, right? See, every single piece of data probably 15 years ago would have been thrown away, saying, you know what, we cannot make use of this. But then with the advent of machine learning and AI, people are realizing that, you can have 90 to 95% accuracies in business forecasts for the future, having current and past data. Well, who would have thought of that probably 20 years ago, right? So when you think about it, the power of data is being matched by the power of intelligent computing that we have today. And with tools like Splunk that bridge this easy gap in between data usage, data valuability, and of course data accessibility, it makes it very important that you should consider being an expert in Splunk. Today's requirement is always that there is a high demand and less supply for Splunk, because Splunk requires a certain set of skills, certain set of training for you guys to become experts. There will always be jobs where people keep continuously hiring for Splunk. As I just told you, there's a huge demand. Now to fill that demand, you guys really have to look towards certification. And the advantage of Splunk over any other data handling tool right now, in my opinion, is that there's two things. Depending on the project size, every project will have two requirements. One is scalability and one is processing speed, right? So today you might have started out your project in a very small fashion or a simple fashion. So you would not require a lot of complexity in your data handling. But if your tool already supports scalability in a way that, you can go today from a small startup to an MNC with the same tool, in that particular case, that's advantageous. The second thing we talk about is processing speed. Processing speed is one of these things, no matter what size of a company you are you an individual or whatever it is, we want the fastest and the best processing speed that's out there, right? So whenever you're talking about the entire architecture of the Splunk Enterprise and the Splunk Cloud, these are some of the advantages that you get, and these are some of the things that recruiters and companies out there are actively looking for to provide solutions either to their clients or themselves. Four key things whenever you talk about a production environment using Splunk is productivity, data security, and profitability, and of course competitiveness. When you're talking about productivity, as I just told you, in a production environment, right, it's very important that you keep the productivity as high as possible and the employees are putting the right amount of time doing the right amount of things instead of something which could where you could probably spend time better, right? Now, the second thing is security. Data security is everything in today's world, and I think I really don't have to stress any more on security, because all of our data, financial data, personal data, social media, everything is there out on the web. Considering that, data security is something Splunk, which is considering that data security is something that Splunk offers really well. And then using Splunk is all about profitability and competitiveness, because at the end of the day, you want to maximize your return on investment, right? See, Splunk, as a solution itself is going to cost money to implement. And when you're putting out some money, it means you have to have a return on investment that's bigger than your investment itself, right? So that particular case, making sure that your data is safe, it's secure, productivity is very high, and that you will make more money out of it rather than not using the tool. And of course, if it's going to give you the competitive edge over your competition, over your competitors, in a way that it could drive more revenue into your business, or it could give you better exposure to your brand, product, or whatever it is, of course that's a win-win, right? Considering that, right, a certification itself, let's talk about a certification. What is it? A certification, in a very simple manner, is a stamp of excellence, right? So it tells people that you have the capability to learn things. You might be coming from a very different background, be it a digital marketing background, you might be a painter, you might be an architect, wherever you're coming from. If you are certified in this, it is an assurance to the people that are hiring you that you have put in the right amount of effort, the time required to do it, and of course money, to be trained and clear certain examinations through that. That's going to portray a lot of things. That's going to portray a lot of things about you, saying that you have the skill sets needed to work on that particular technology. And the second thing we need to talk about is the substantial increase in pay. You know what? If you're thinking that you can work on Splunk without being certified, yes you can. But at the end of the day, if you are certified through Splunk, right, you will have a huge increase in pay compared to a person who's not certified. This is the case in most of the technologies out there, and for Splunk this definitely is true. And then whenever we're talking about you getting hired, right, of course, if you just say I've worked on Splunk, it will not add value to your resume. If you say I am a certified Splunk developer or a Splunk engineer and I have cleared the examination to prove it, well, which one would you pick, right? So you would prefer the person who brings a lot of skills and techniques and knowledge across the table, right? Exactly my point. And then when we're talking about corporate requirements, see, all the companies that use Splunk will almost 99% have requirements saying we require you to clear certain Splunk examinations or certain certifications out there. So to even get into that job, you have to clear these certifications. So if you are looking for a dream job at a dream company, but then to get in there, let's say you're an expert in Splunk even though you didn't do a certification program, but they will say in a stern way saying, we require the certification for you to clear the interviews. In that particular case, yes, right, it's a corporate requirement that you have to have. So considering all four of these points, I'm sure you now know the value of what a certificate can do to you. So considering all of that, what are some of the certification offerings that Splunk is putting out right now? So we're going to go from the entry level to the highly technical certification offering that Splunk is giving in order, of course. So from 1 to 10, it's going to be increasing order of technicality too. So to start out with, the first certification offering they're providing is the Splunk Core Certified User. Now, a Splunk Core Certified User must have the ability to actually search used fields, creates a lot of alerts, use lookups, create basic statistical reports, and of course, at the end of the day, to work on either the Splunk Enterprise platform or of course the Splunk Cloud platform as well. So this is one of the entry level certification offering that Splunk provides. So coming to number 2, it's all about the Splunk Core Certified Power User. See, a power user needs to have a lot of skills compared to the first one as well. See, for example, you require SPL searching, you require skills of using field aliases, event types, macros, workflow actions, calculated fields, knowledgeable objects, reporting commands, and a lot of things as well. So to a person, when they say that they are a Splunk Core Certified Power User, that means that they have the understanding of all of this, and this is what is required to clear the certification too. And then coming to the third one, this is even more difficult than the second one. It's the Splunk Core Certified Advanced Power User. A certified advanced power user, right, has complete knowledge or in-depth knowledge of how things work about in complex searching. For example, the use of reporting commands. There might be multiple advanced or convoluted use cases that you will have to know about when working with this. A lot of knowledge objects, best practices when you're building forms, when you're working with dashboards, right? So what this certified certification does is it shows that you as an individual have the ability to completely work with complex searches, dashboards, create reports, and all of that. Of course, when you're working with the Splunk architecture, to make sure that you are understanding how you can extract the best out of the data. So coming to number four, see number fourth, we have the Splunk Cloud Certified Admin, right? See, when you're thinking about the Splunk Cloud, it's extremely popular today. And a Splunk Cloud Certified Admin has the capabilities and the knowledge to manage and configure all the details on the cloud, be it data inputs, forwarder communication, be it data management, account management, basic monitoring, problem isolation, problem solutions. All of these kinds of things are something that a Splunk Cloud Certified Admin needs to know. So as we're discussing, this is one of the certifications that makes sure that it shows the people that it shows others that you have the complete capability to perform day-to-day administration, and of course check the health of a Splunk cloud environment, and in general towards its maintainability and running effectiveness as well. Coming to the next one, with the fifth, we have the Splunk Enterprise Certified Admin. Now, this person, right? So, a certified Splunk Enterprise admin has the capabilities to do a lot of things. For example, if you're thinking about the Splunk Enterprise, right, you'll have to manage all of the components that are there, be it license managing, indexing, search heads, configuration, monitoring, check how data gets into Splunk, check how data visualization can be performed, active configuration changes, day-to-day monitoring, and a lot of other things too. So, Splunk Enterprise Certified Admin actually is a very, very popular offering from Splunk. And then number six, we have the Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect. See, a Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect is this person who will have a thorough knowledge of how Splunk deployment works. It's not only that. Alongside this, he or she will require complete knowledge on how best practices are put out whenever you're planning for data ingestion, whenever you're collecting data, whenever you are deploying data, or it's just that it's not even ingestion and data visualization. It's about how you're storing it, how you're managing it, and working with that as well. So considering all of these, right, in a distributed environment, the use of indexers, the use of head clustering, and a lot of other things, a Splunk Enterprise Certified Architect is skilled in all of these, and these are the requirements that are needed to clear the certification offering from Splunk. And then number 7 on the list, we have the Splunk Core Certified Consultant. Now, a Splunk Core Certified Consultant is this person who has the thorough ability of understanding how the Splunk deployment methodology works, how it can be implemented in very large scale Splunk installation, and of course a thorough knowledge of how multi-tier Spark architectures work, be it in terms of clustering, be it in terms of scalability. A thorough knowledge and in-depth knowledge on how multi-tier Splunk architecture works is definitely something a Splunk Core Certified Consultant is good at. Coming to number 8. On number 8, we have the Splunk Enterprise Security Certified Admin. Now, a security admin is this person who has the complete capability and the understanding of managing the Splunk Enterprise environment, right? See, there's so many event processing things that's required, normalization, deployment requirements, technology add-ons, threat intelligence and protocol intelligence configurations are some of the most important things that a certified security admin must have under his or her belt when you're thinking about security customizations, protocol checking, protocol analysis, analysis testing, for example, as well. So a lot of things that's involved in the field of security. So if you are inclined towards the security aspect of Splunk, then this is a certification program that you definitely should look at. And then coming to number 9, we have the Splunk IT Service Intelligence Certified Admin. IT Service Intelligence is again a very, very important concept in the entire world of Splunk, because this person, a certified admin, has the capability of installing and configuring Splunk's application for the IT service intelligence, as I just mentioned, be it the complete creation of an architecture, be it planning, deployment, implementation, documentation, and a lot of other things too. So taking the product from a ground up until its production stage by making use of Splunk is something a Splunk IT Service Intelligence Certified Admin definitely has the capability to do. And going from installation to configuration might seem simple on paper, but this definitely requires thorough knowledge, and it's a very technical certification offering from Splunk too. And then on number 10, we have an even more technical certification offering from Splunk. That is the Splunk Phantom Certified Admin. Splunk Phantom Certified Admin again has the capability to use all the Phantom servers that are provided in Splunk. Be it servers, planning it, designing it, architecting it, creating all the basic playbooks that's required for working with Phantom. And it's not only this, right? See, whenever you're talking about the entire field of providing a solution via Phantom, it's all about how one can be thoroughly skilled in that, in a way where you can use Splunk with Phantom to develop playbooks. Sometimes it might require custom coding. It'll require a lot of REST API usage as well. So keeping all of this in mind, a certified Splunk Phantom admin has the complete capability or thorough knowledge of how to work with Phantom servers and how to bring it together with Splunk. And the entire gold mine of certification offerings, in my opinion, whenever we're talking about Splunk, is the 11th one. It's the Splunk Certified Developer. This is probably the most popular Splunk certification program out there, in my opinion, because this will show you how one can build apps using the Splunk web framework too. If you are a developer, if you're interested in technical development using the Splunk platform, you can check towards this certification, because here it'll test you on a lot of things. For example, drill downs, advanced behaviors, data visualization, data planning, story creating, dashboarding, REST endpoints, packaging applications, building it. So basically, it's all about building an application, as I mentioned, taking it from scratch all the way to taking it into production by using the entire Splunk framework or the Splunk platform, right? So if you are inclined towards that, again, this is a very popular offering from Splunk that you guys can consider. So these were some of the certification offerings from Splunk. It depends on what you're looking for, what your interests are aligned with, and what you would want to do too. Based on that, you will pick up one of these certification exams. Of course, prepare for it and then clear that and get a dream job. And it's not only that, I know you'll have more questions regarding the certification, saying where can we register for the examinations, right? So whenever you're talking about candidate requirements for Splunk certifications, there are 4 very important points you have to always follow. One is that you must have a splunk.com account that you have to use. It has to be tagged to a valid and a current email address that you use. You must have an account with Pearson VUE. You must be at least 18 years of age, and I think you can still take the certification if you're below 18 years of age. You just need an attestament or some sort of a form from your parent or guardian to go on to do so. And lastly, the most important thing is that you will require a valid photo identity and form of identification showing that you are using your legal name and it is you that's actually taking up the examination. So candidate requirements are pretty simple. It'll just require a couple of usernames, of course, the age requirement and the photo ID requirement. Now coming to the most important discussion is the exam fees. The exam fees is actually pretty competitive in today's world of certification, because whenever you talk about registering for a single exam, it costs $125. But if you're taking up 5 exams and if you want to clear 5 of these Splunk certification programs, right, it's $500. So you'll be saving a lot of money when you take up 5 examinations rather than 1. But if your requirement is only 1 exam, of course, that's the way to go. And of course, the next question that you'll have is how one can register for the examination, right? There's actually 2 ways of how you can register yourself for Splunk certification examinations out there, using Pearson VUE, or you can directly log into your Splunk account and schedule an examination from there as well. And of course, if you're talking about a cancellation policy, they do have a 48-hour cancellation policy or a rescheduling policy as well. So make sure to check that out on the website of Splunk. But understand that you can register and work towards your certification in 2 ways. One is by logging on to Pearson VUE, and of course the second thing is directly from Splunk themselves. So what is the average salary of a certified Splunk engineer, right? See, a Splunk engineer gets a very fancy salary. It's around $150,000 in the United States per annum. It's around 12 lakhs per annum in India, and of course it's somewhere around 67,000 pounds in Britain too. So when you're thinking about these numbers, they are very much achievable. They are the average salaries. If you are skilled and certified in Splunk and that you can work with the process, you can work with the tools at hand very effectively, understand this. People will pay a lot of money to have you on board if you're able to provide a solution in Splunk, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what salary you might ask. If you just have the skill for it, you can leverage that against a very big salary. salary across, of course, a very big company of your choice as well. So do not be limited to understanding that this might be the only salary you will get. Of course, this is an average considering the lower and the upper minimums. So in that particular case, you could probably get 2 or 3 times the salary you see on your screen too, and it's pretty common, right? A person who has the right skills, who has the capability to solve a problem in today's world using a technology, will always be paid well. In that particular case, I would urge you guys to definitely look at becoming Splunk experts yourself. But then to clear these examinations, you will of course require some certification training to make you guys proficient in all of the concepts. So make sure you head to the Intellipaat website to check out. The latest offerings that we provide for Splunk training. And of course, the next point we're going to discuss is the career prospects of Splunk, right? See, a person has the capability to go from, an associate all the way till an architect when you're working with Splunk. You can start out a career after being certified as an associate Splunk engineer. A couple of years later, you can be called as a lead Splunk developer. And of course, at the end of it, you can reach a stage where you are a thorough expert in Splunk. A Splunk architect will know the in and out, and you will have the complete capability to not only just handle a team who work on Splunk, but you'll be able to design, develop products, and of course work on deploying. And you will be a master of data handling, in my opinion, when you get to the stage of a Splunk architect. So if you're wondering about who's hiring for all of these roles, well, let me tell you that there's thousands of job openings right now. People are hiring for all of these roles right now. In that particular case, I definitely think you guys should be working on being certified in Splunk. So here are my final thoughts for this particular session. There's a beautiful quote by a person called as Jim Ferguson. He says, data will talk to you if you're willing to listen. And that's true. And especially today's world, people realize the value of data and that it's a wealth of information among us. So considering all of that, I definitely think that Splunk is one of these tools that will definitely help us with data. And of course, it's one of the most trending careers to have as well. As Splunk engineer's role, a big data role in today's world is something that almost a lot of people want to get in all the time. So there's this kind of a trend train where the graph keeps going up and up and up, and there's no slowing it down because the data that we are producing is not slowing down. So to handle all of that, it takes a lot of skill, it takes a lot of knowledge on how one can go on to do that. So I definitely suggest that you guys jump on a trending career path right now, explore the certification offerings from Splunk, and of course for training, make sure to check out the Intellipaat website too.
We hope the session was very informative for you all. If you have any questions, any comments, or any feedback, make sure to head down to the comment section and do let us know. We'll be more than happy to help you out there. On that note, I wish you well, and I'll see you in the next one.